So I'd had a thought that I wanted to come on here and complete a Justin Jefferson trade with you, and then since I had that thought, Jamar Chase like might retire, and and Jefferson's QB1, who we don't even know if is good or not, is dead. So it's I don't know that it's really as appealing of a deal as it was like a week ago when I thought about it. So Pat, I think we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait and see.
Who's we? I'm down. Who is we? That makes for entertaining TV. Who is we?
I don't disagree, but I mean, you typically lowball me, so that's why I kind of wanted a live
That's
studio
nonsense,
audience.
Coley. that's fucking nonsense. You know it's a lie.
You sent me like Mike Williams, like the USC Mike Williams, not even current Jet Mike Williams, and Ricky Prohl, and I'm like, I don't know.
Prohl is insane. Ricky Prohl. I'm sending you what, Troy Brown too? Is that
I would take Troy Brown. See, that's what, that's a guy. He'll get you a kick return touchdown. He might get you a pick six. You never know what Troy Brown's going to get you.
True. Very true.
But yeah, typically swill on swill is what I get. But no, I was going to offer a potentially rule bending trade, which is my favorite type.
Oh,
but so I was in the market.
Bending the rules. Yeah.
I would. So the reason I also think it would be pertinent to get it on camera is I would need it to happen the second the draft ended. It couldn't happen pre-draft.
Oh, that's why. And I have done similar.
Sure, yeah. I don't think
it's funny because it's the same people are involved. Like I traded, like there's a league I'm in where like we could sign a guy to one contract and then he gets to free agency after 6 seasons if he lasts that long, obviously. So I had Justin Jefferson. I had 2 years left of him. So I traded. So the homeboy has Jamar Chase and he's concerned about Burrow's response. So I was like, all right, hey, just lock in Jamar Chase for his deal. And you could have Justin Jefferson after the fact. I'll throw in some shit to make it worth your time or whatever, blah, blah. So I could have Jamar Chase for 6 seasons as opposed to the 3 that I would have had if I traded him before. So funny, it's the same people are involved. Funny, but yes.
Well, so for me, it's not even like Jamar in our league's like $12 more or something like that. Yes. That's not like an official number, but he's more expensive.
He is.
So it's not that for me. I also want Spears. And that I couldn't be able to keep 6 people. Like we have the 5 limit. So it's like it would be Jefferson and I don't know, my last $1 player. You know what I mean? You could pick whoever my last pick is, and that would be in the trade for Chase and Spears. That's where I'm at. I'm sure you want nothing to do with it.
Copy. I mean, if we were doing that now, it would be great. I'm not sure I'm keeping Tajee Spears. I have to work through that. But if he ends up being kept, he's in consideration for the last keeper. Then we could discuss that after the fact. But yeah, it's not something that I would dismiss.
Clearly,
summarily.
That's the thing that I would have to. Both of us, I think, would have to go into the draft knowing this is happening. Because if we're both drafting without this agreed to, then who knows what's going to happen?
For sure, I would have to give you like a list of dollar players that this.
I think during it you could just text me or whatever.
That's right. Yeah, it's not something that's impossible.
I thought it was very fair.
It's not about it. It is. It's not impossible.
I get this rap from you that I'm some sort of tyrant. I always come with fair offers, and again, you just lowball after lowball after lowball.
I don't. What you view as a lowball, what is a lowball, are very different things, though.
I think when Justin Jefferson's being spoken about, there's typically only lowballs.
Hey man, this guy like to troll you every now and again. Doesn't mean I'm lowballing. Well, I mean, it does, but I am lowballing you to troll you.
You send the type of trades that I don't even like rejecting in case I accidentally hit the wrong button. You know what I mean? Like such egregious deals where it's like, I'm just going to let this expire. I'll let it sit there for 2 years if I have to. I won't touch it. In the off chance I've got small kids, you understand. If I'm on my phone, they'll reach up and push buttons all the time. You know what I mean? Like I can't have this kind of stuff.
That's why you close the app. our text chain and you say fuck off, and then I'll take the offer off myself. That's how you do it.
It's typically understood. I have to actually pay up for that league now that we're talking about it. I always forget. But we've been in that. I was thinking about we've been in that for like a decade now.
Shit, we have. Shit, I remember my first keeper was Cordell Patterson, bro. That's how long I've been in the league, bro.
I mean, I inherited
2 years after that, but yeah,
I inherited a roster that Peyton Manning was one of the keepers. Like that's. And I didn't. I don't think I kept anyone. I think I started fresh. I think I released everyone.
It's been a while. I kept some bullshit. I don't remember what it was, but I kept some bullshit.
Yeah, well, back then it was only 3 too. We upped it to 5 like 5 years ago or so, which I was thrilled about. I was like, please.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I mean, you guys got to see the White Sox. Took 2 out of 3 off of them. The 1 out of 3 was tough.
Series against teams like that are just never fun. It doesn't even matter the result of them. Like if you sweep, you're supposed to sweep. If you do anything but sweep, you hate yourself. If you lose the series, you're just like, why do I root for this team? None of it is fun. Like the Yankees, mind you, they won 10-2 last night. And if you just looked at the box score, oh, that's great. Oh, that's lovely. Bro, it was not. That shit was not fun. In the 7th inning, it was 2-1.
I was gonna say we started doing section 10 and it was 2-1, and I think you guys left the bases loaded, or maybe that's when the comeback started.
That was like the 6th.
Okay. Yeah. And it was just like, are they about to lose the series to the White Sox? And then next time we looked up, Judge was hit. What did they intentionally walk Soto to get the Judge? Is that
yes. To set up the double play this. Yeah.
I mean, I love like the White Sox. That's a very funny thing to do. Like in October, when I think of something like that, yeah, of course. But I would not be like using a White Sox pitcher. You know what I mean? Like that's where the train comes off the tracks a little bit. Like that's.
I'm not intentionally walking anybody in front of Aaron Judge. I don't give a fuck the surroundings. I don't care. Like
that's this specific series. Soto hit a home run per at bat. Like I can kind of understand that part. Like. The hotter hitter in that moment was definitely.
Oh yeah,
Soto.
for sure.
Pitching to either isn't that much.
It's not fun. It's great. I love watching it. It's fun that the Yankees decide to put a charity out before them at every single turn, since they're still batting Alex Verdugo leadoff for reasons unknown, but they're still doing it.
It's been the funniest part of the Yankees, who have like 71 wins or something like that, 72 maybe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're tied for the league leader wins. Yep.
And Verdugo's just out there. I mean, Jazz got hurt. They haven't got the results back from his MRI, right?
No.
Yeah, so doesn't sound like great.
Naming it could be like a month injury, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what I believe that when I see it. Like when I hear UCL, like I just assume the worst,
right? So yeah, I was gonna come back and DH.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's like if he can't fucking throw, he might as well just get the damn surgery and be done with it. Like
right.
So
yeah,
if he can't throw, he has no real utility here. So you might as well just.
No, he was hitting well, but unless you're gonna like put Stanton at third, I don't really know.
Right, exactly. Or you're gonna bring him off the bench as a pinch hitter. I mean, I guess that's not like the wildest idea, but who is he going to be pinch hitting for? Is kind of the question. And then if he pinch hits, you're gonna have to leave him in the game unless you're gonna bring in Oswaldo. It's a lot. It's a lot of moving parts.
Right. As well he could run. He could pinch run for you, but it's not. I don't know if you want to waste a bench spot for that. And
right. If he can't do anything else, like he's not that useful to you.
No, and he like Sneaky by the time he gets back too. All of the minors are done, so there's nowhere he can even like rehab necessarily.
Yeah, I'd be slightly surprised if we see Jazz again this year, but we'll see. I'd be slightly surprised.
You guys have for 1 more year or 2?
Pretty sure it's 2 after this year.
Okay,
pretty sure it's 2. Yeah,
even more confusing why the Marlins traded him now.
I'm just gonna guess that it wasn't wholly baseball related.
They just wasn't free agent 27.
Yeah, they wasn't fucking with him like that, dog.
I don't know that they have any say in who they in who they should or shouldn't like. Like you're the Marlins. Let's be serious for a second.
Fair. I mean, fair, but they're the ones with the player. They decided to trade him. I thought it was a little odd, given that he has multiple years of team control left. I mean, they do what they do. It's not like Jazz is some irreplaceable player. Don't get me wrong, but he's fine. He's a
No,
good Major League Baseball player. He's just not the most durable. And well, that
sure.
shows itself again. So I don't know, but the Marlins just do a lot of weird shit. So
yeah. Today, which I feel like we never get stuff like this, but today, Jesse Rogers of ESPN dropped an article that ESPN really has no interest in promoting. I saw it because I saw it because John Boy was doing a video on it, and then you had texted me the CBS version of this right before we got on. And it's been something they've been talking about and floating for a while. I still don't know that they have the exact. I know they don't have the exact specifics and mechanics behind it worked out, but could a 6-inning minimum starting pitcher rule come to MLB is the headline. And they've been basically trying to figure this out for a while. My immediate knee-jerk reaction is just like, what a stupid idea. Reading how they want to go about it, more or less, I don't hate as much. But they still want to figure out, like, if you pull the pitcher, does the DH get pulled? It's like they've changed so many rules these last 5 years and are going to continue doing it. My biggest pushback is like, can we just wait and see what happens with any of these rules? Like, we don't have enough data set to know if any of these rules have been positive or negative on the league yet. And they just want to keep moving on to the next rule. It's like, how about we just wait a couple of years? How does that sound?
My thing with the rule is like, all right, no, everything that I say will be derived directly from how I'm going to start this. I don't give a fuck about seeing starting pitchers throw more pitches. Once you understand that, everything from here should make perfect sense how I'm going about this. Now, as far as the rule change, it's like I understand completely. Are there labor issues with starting pitchers? Yes. Are there injury issues with starting pitchers? Yes, understood. I am no genius, so I have no fucking idea how you fix it, if you fix it at all. I don't know. Do I think it makes a lot of sense that you have guys like the Dodgers pitcher just got hurt, River Ryan. Yeah, he's throwing 50 pitches to start in the minor leagues. Basically, he comes up and he gets hurt anyway. Do I think that shit like that makes a lot of sense? No. Do I have a solution? No. But as far as this rule, it's like, okay, so my pitcher goes out there. The Yankees are playing the Red Sox. Nestor Cortez out there doing all them stupid ass funky windups and getting clapped. He leaves the game in the third inning. Now I have to lose Giancarlo Stanton, and by I mean the Yankees. I have to lose Giancarlo Stanton because Nestor Cortez didn't have it today. That reeks of bullshit to me. And then and you're taking this decisions out of the manager's hands. I do understand freely that there's been rule changes in every single sport solely geared about the entertainment. It seems like the entertainment is the main issue here for Major League Baseball. Yes, the injury stuff is too, but they talk about that less. They want the starting pitcher to be featured more, and it's like the guys who are still like top dogs, the good to great pitcher, they still go decent amount through games. It's the Nestor Cortez's and like he's not a bad pitcher, but he's a jag largely. It's guys like that who, okay, the first sign of trouble, you're out of here. Garrett Cole's still going he's still going a good distance of his starts. Sandy Alcantara, I don't know why I brought up a guy who was injured, but when he was healthy, he was going deep into games, right? The premier pitchers still go deep into games. So it's just the rule change from the entertainment perspective. What do you gain from it? If you want to talk about the injury perspective, that's separate. If they were to change the rule and injuries wildly decreased, I would just shut up. They'd be like, okay, cool. That's a good effect to the rule. But that also implies that the injury proneness of starting pitchers starts when they get to Major League Baseball. It don't. This starts way before. They're even professionals because of how many breaking balls. There's 100 things. I ain't no pitching genius. There's 100 things you could link to it. people who are smarter than me have done so. The amount of breaking balls people are throwing, the velocity people are throwing at, like long before they're professionals. So what's the fix? I don't know.
So Passon wrote, I think it was a full book, that fucking nerd, about like the art of pitching and injuries. And from his findings, if I'm remembering correctly, there was no link between throwing breaking balls and arm injuries. That's what the data showed.
Right.
I do think the max velocity for 4 or 5 innings probably isn't great for people's arms. If I had to guess, I'm sure that's not
Right.
ideal. And in this piece from Rogers, you have a couple of GMs being like, I don't know that there's any walking that back. I don't know that you're ever going to see, because especially like you're talking about the high schooler or the college kid trying to get drafted,
Right.
he's going to pop if he's throwing high 90s. I mean, you see the scouting reports, even this most recent draft. I know the Red Sox took a couple of pitchers that fit this. I know the Yankees took a pitcher who fit this. If they're living in that 93 to 95, they're always like, we don't know how that's going to play at the next level. And I just watched Tyler Mahle the other night live at 93 to 95, and the Red Sox had nothing for it. Absolutely nothing. Obviously, there's plenty of data showing that guys throwing 95 plus hitters struggle against that at every level. So I get that. I think the idea of, and I hate to use Maddox as an example, but he is the example. If you hit your spots, it doesn't matter if you're throwing 88, doesn't matter if you're throwing 92. Kyle Hendricks has made himself quite a career. I don't think he's ever thrown a pitch higher than 86 miles an hour. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
the pitching of pitching doesn't, it's been throwing for a while. Like there's not a lot of guys I look at and be like, that's a pitcher. Like there's a lot of hurlers for sure. Like when I say Mason Miller is obviously filthy.
Mm-hmm.
Mason Miller can't stay healthy, and some of that has been because of pitching. Some of that's been because he
that's
punches walls.
that's the reason. That's the reason he's a closer in the first place. They transitioned him there because he couldn't stay healthy.
Right, and that's where it's like, I don't know if you're ever gonna. But I think there is part of like, all right, if you're gonna try and be one of these speed, I don't even want to say merchants because there's a negative connotation to that. But if you're gonna be chasing velocity, yeah, you'll only ever be a reliever. Like we know how this ends, and trying to get you 3+ innings. Like Evaldi's a guy who can crank it up. I think it's lost on a lot of pitchers to be like, yeah, I'd like to live 90 to 93. I can dial it up to 98 once in a while, but I'd prefer not to.
And I think there isn't a coincidence that a lot of those guys who can pace themselves effectively are of a certain age because they came up on that. You know, guys like they prioritize different shit now. Like Spencer Strider's not out here trying to pace himself. Really good pitcher, obviously.
Right.
He's not out here trying to pace himself. That man's like, hey, I'm trying to throw it through the fucking catcher's glove from the minute the game starts to whenever the fuck they pull me. That's what I'm here for. I'm trying to throw the shit through the catcher's mitt. That's it. Tyler Glasnow, similar.
Yeah, they said the objective is to prioritize starting pitching, not to leave a struggling starter in to reach the innings threshold while his ERA skyrockets or at the risk of injury. So, league's conversations have included carve outs, instances where pitchers would not have to pitch the required 6 innings. Some instances when a starter would be allowed to leave early might include he's already thrown 100 pitches, he gives up 4 or more earned runs, he gets injured, in parentheses, with a required IL stint to avoid manipulation. Outside of those exceptions, pitchers would have a mandate to make it through at least 6 innings. I don't necessarily hate the idea of it's like, yeah, if you're throwing out a team at random here, the Tampa Bay Rays, and you're pulling guys at like 24 pitches in the second inning, yeah, that I can understand why MLB doesn't want that anymore.
Right. Right. And I mean, those are also special circumstances typically. Like, yes, Tampa Bay did make. I mean, Tampa Bay, the whole thing started basically because they're broke. Like, we're gonna just be honest with ourselves. The whole thing with them being the opener kings started because they don't want to spend money on their roster. So, well, fuck them. In short, fuck them. But yes,
yeah, that's a cop out as well. You know what I mean? Like they could easily spend money.
Of course, they just don't want to.
But they're also saying limiting the size of rotations earlier in the article, and it's just like, how is that helpful here? That seems counterintuitive.
And that's kind of my thing with the idea. if you want to prioritize starting pitching, I personally don't care that much, but I understand why you would want to. But when you say shit like, okay, you have to go 6 innings, and then previously before, or there's a mandate, whatever, there's a mandate to go 6 innings, and previously before that, you're like, okay, we want to limit rotation size. First of all, how do those two things link? And if they don't link, how does the limiting rotation size help at all? Genuinely asking, how
Yeah.
what is the benefit for that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But, I mean, baseball typically fucks this up because even in this article, they're like, we want more marquee matchups, we want more offense, and we do think a pitcher going that third time will give you offense. So did juice balls in spider time. Like you had both. You had pitchers pitching with tremendous control, and when guys did make contact, it went a far away. Now you had guys only swing for the fences, so there weren't as many people on base. So I do agree or understand that part of it too, but you kind of did have this. I don't know. Like OPS is crazy down this year across the league.
With regard to guys swinging for the fences, I just think the toothpaste is out of the tube on that one. Now, yes, the guys who don't swing for the fences due to the shift rules, I'm assuming that helps them. Okay, like I'm assuming that that's the case, and but as a matter of fact, I can't even really say that because I don't know what the BABIP is league wide this year as opposed to prior years. I do know, however, that league offense is down league wide. So what that really helps, I don't know. I don't think guys are just not going to stop swinging for the fences unless you start, making rules about it, because home runs make you money. That's it. Simple and clear.
Sure.
Home runs make you money.
Yeah. And this is where I go back to like, are we changing too many rules too quickly? Like the NBA in the 80s introduced the 3 point line. They changed like the shot clock rules within like the last decade. And that's really it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's been other like small defensive tweaks and stuff like that, but nothing is major. Even the NFL, like this year, they've changed kickoffs and they've changed how certain already existing rules are called. Because Ty Law dominated Peyton Manning so thoroughly, they were like, all right, we'll call pass interference more often. But in terms of like massive major rule changes, other sports aren't like manipulating the entire game as much as baseball has in a very short period of time.
And that is my issue. Like, I don't care if you want to change rules for entertainment reasons, but calling calling the defensive 3 seconds, that's I feel like that's one of the last like major rule changes the NBA made, like prior to recent years. That doesn't affect what Eric Spoelstra could do with his team. Like you're not forcing Eric Spoelstra to do anything. It's just, hey, these are the rules, play within them. That's it. You're not forcing them to do anything. It's inning 4. My guy's given up 2 runs. He's thrown 87 pitches. Now I have to face the facts that assuming like let's say they pass the rule with the DH, you lose your DH. Now I have to make a decision that makes both my pitching staff worse in the moment, assuming that your relievers are worse than your starter, and makes my offense worse. Like, you are handcuffing me because why? Greg Maddux used to throw complete games that went 80 pitches. Like, why are you handcuffing me?
Like, you might as well, like, if you're gonna do that, there should be a slaughter rule too. Like, there shouldn't be 9 innings of that.
Right. Like, I have to go 6 innings. Like, okay, but I go 4, and now my offense is thoroughly penalized because of this. I don't like. Yes,
yeah, we've already given up this many runs, and now one of my better hitters is done. Like, I think what you would see is like, you'd have to change how you use the DH. It's like you'd have to use one of your shittier hitters as the DH that day if your shittier pitcher is on the mound.
And that is absurd. To me, at least. That's absurd.
Well, of course it is, because your DH is a DH because he's probably bad at defense. So you're weakening your whole team
exactly
in this way.
Right.
Like, it's
right. And it's like, if I want to take out the pitcher at 5, my guy's giving me 5 innings of 89 pitch baseball. why are you forcing me to do this? I don't, because of entertainment reasons. Again, if you want to make it about injuries, cool. That's a good that's a good reason to do it. You want to make it about injuries and labor, cool. I think there are better ways to go about this. What they are, don't ask me. I don't know. But there are better ways. There got to be better ways than, hey, you lose your fucking DH if your guy goes 4 1/3. There got to be better ways, bro. Got to be.
Yeah, it definitely seems like just reading through this, but it's still giving baseball too much credit. It would be one or the other. It wouldn't be both. So it would be like either they would change it so that if you pulled a pitcher early, you'd lose your DH, or they would just put the 6 inning rule with the 100 pitch for earned or injury stipulations in it. It wouldn't be both. But until this is agreed upon, which I don't know, they say they're going to have to test it through the minors, this, that, and the third before it gets to MLB. We'll see. I tend not to give MLB too much credit because they've historically fucked up so much.
They don't earn it at all.
And layups too. I'm not talking like, oh, it's not fucking shit that comes across Fauci's desk. Like I'm talking.
I
like
mean, them
actual
unjuicing the baseballs didn't make any fucking sense. We can start there. That made no like you. They have been bitching publicly about offense for however long now, 4 or 5, 10, however many years, right? You get the juice balls. Don't get me wrong. Some of the balls I hit out of the park are ridiculous, and that's coming from me. I love home runs. You had guys swinging with one arm, hitting balls 435 feet. Like, some of it was absurd. You guys are the one complaining about offense, not me. Like y'all are the ones complaining about offense. You got offense in droves in 2019. You had Alex Bregman hitting 40 bombs. Gleyber Torres hit 38. Just 2 examples. You had the offense that you want. Then you're like, all right, we got to unjuice the baseballs. Okay, you want to make it. You want to talk about pitchers. You take away spider attack. Why? What for what benefit? Oh, they're cheating. So cheating is as ingrained in baseball as racism is in America. Now you want to care? We didn't care when fucking Mark McGuire's arms were bigger than my head. We didn't care then.
And it's all cheating's all relative too. Like if quite literally everyone's doing it, it's not necessarily cheating.
Right.
You know what I mean? If every pitcher is using whatever mixture they like, what they should have done is they should have got together with every pitcher and been like, what are the commonalities between what everyone uses? Oh, is it sunblock and rosin? Okay, that's legal. It very much seems like they pulled that plug very quick, and then that's when the injuries started. That's when they started piling up.
So, like we claim to care about player health, and excuse me, and perhaps they do. I'm not sitting here saying that they don't. But then you make a decision like that in 5 minutes, enforce it immediately without any care for what it could do, health wise. Like you got guys throwing a baseball one way for however many years today. Tomorrow, you're like, all right, yeah, you're gonna have to throw the baseball a completely different way, and nobody stopped to think like, okay, this is bad for these guys' health. Like nobody stopped to think of that.
No, because they always tell on themselves. Like, even steroids. No one cared. Like it wasn't some lead story in '98. When was the 97? Like it was just like, man, this is sick. And then the Mitchell report comes out, and it's just like, wow, who like that was an MLB employee who did that? Like, who gives a fuck? And then they talked about it like.
So I don't give a fuck that Mark McGuire was on steroid. That man hit 70 home runs. That shit was fire. I don't give a fuck. Barry Bonds came to camp with a size 10 fitted in 01, hit 100 home runs, walked 800 times. That was fun. I do not care that he was on steroids. That is his problem. His body, his choice, bro. That's his problem.
The pitching was better too. Like I had someone earlier this year be like, pitching's way better than it was then. That's wrong. It's categorically wrong. Like it's not even close.
I mean, can I say that it's more difficult to hit even if pitching is not better? I think both of those things can actually coexist here.
Sure. I don't necessarily disagree with that, but yeah, it's definitely more difficult to hit when everyone's juice to the gills.
Right. But I mean, it's more difficult to hit now because you got guys doing all kind of filth. Even if like the starting pitchers aren't necessarily, let's say, as good as they used to be. Like you got guys coming in out of the bullpen throwing 98-mile-an-hour splitters. Like the game is.
Well, I think that's what they're talking about. They're like, yeah, a starter gets pulled in the fourth, and then they bring in 6 different relievers who all throw this, that, and the third. So it's like you have more specialists now, and I do think the 3 batter rule has been good. You know what I mean? Like
I
there are
agree.
teams were for sure like, we have this guy who only ever faces one guy. It's like, all right, like now you're going out of the mound.
I'm just opposed to specialists in general,
Sure.
regardless of the fucking sport. I'm just like I like get kickers and punters out of my face, but that's another topic for another day. Carry on.
But that's also where like you already have that one rule change, you know what I mean? It's been a good one. Like I still don't love the pitch clock. Other people have forgotten about it. Every time a pitcher complains about it, they bury that story.
True.
You've had pitchers complain about the balls they've been using because they've lost the trust of pitchers since a lot of these rule changes, not the pitch clock, but between, oh, you can't use this mixture anymore, you can't use anything to grip the ball, and yet we know they were juiced. We can't really say it out loud, but everyone knows that. I know you've had Fairbanks, you've had Glasnow, you've had a handful of guys be like, yeah, when I get a ball that I know is juiced, I throw it out, and then the ump just throws me another juiced one, and it's just like, say, awesome.
It's
and
like
buried this.
it's like that meme with the fat dude, and it's just him, and then he stepped back, and it's like all he did was step back, and like
Sure.
no actual weight loss. But yeah, good.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, clearly I'm at a disadvantage now. Like there's no consistency with the baseballs. There's no seemingly rhyme or reason. Even they've had certain pitchers with a bunch of shit on them, and they've just been like, oh, we're not going to eject that guy. And then the next night they're like, this guy's ejected.
Oh, I love
for
that.
no reason.
Oh, I love that stuff. I like we feel like you should be ejected and suspended, as opposed to the guy yesterday who did the same thing. And oh, that's cool. Like making that a subjective matter is insane. It's
right.
Oh, insane.
They've given too much power to umpires, which is probably my main gripe because these guys are bozos.
Complete bozos.
Like Casas is in AAA right now, and it feels like every day there's a story about him challenging a strike, and I don't think he's gotten one wrong yet. He can't wait for that to come to the majors. He's instantly going to skyrocket up the MVP rankings.
That man's OBP is about to be 500.
He's never going to be wrong.
In Major League Baseball, yeah.
Ever. Like, he's just going to be like, yeah, that's a ball. Thanks. We'll keep going with this at bat.
Like, do they minimize how many challenges you could take? Or what?
You definitely don't get unlimited.
That'll be fire. Every game would take 12 hours, but that'll be fire.
Well, it is a fast process. Like it's
fast. Okay.
Yeah, it's not like we have to go to New York and some guy has to tell us. Like it's very much kind of similar to how tennis does it, where when it's just like, yep, that's exactly where it hit, and then we play on. Like it's right. Probably even a little faster than that, truth be told. But yeah, it doesn't interrupt the rate of play at all.
Good. They should let them challenge whatever, dog. Like, hey man, it's 0-1. You just shafted me. All right. No, that was not a fucking strike. We're not gonna do this. It's 1-1. Oh, it's 1-1. Now you want to you shafted me again? Now it's 1-2. No, that was not actually a strike. Now it's 2-1. We can just do this all day. Why not? Like you have Laz Diaz out here still being gainfully employed and want to tell me about balls and strikes and how umpires should have X amount of power, as if we don't watch Laz Diaz fuck up everything, every inning of every game he's ever umpired.
Okay, so you get, from according to Google, who's become very unreliable,
true.
When a challenge is made, a video of the pitch will be played on the scoreboard to either confirm or change the ball strike called. Each team will have 3 challenges per game, and if the player wins their challenge and the call is overturned, the team keeps their amount of challenges. So if you're right, you can
run it fire.
Up. You can run it up.
That's fire. That's fire. So, as somebody whose team is about to have Juan Soto for like the next 12 years, bring that to me, please. Thank you.
That's how it should be in all sports. I've never understood losing a challenge if you were right. Doesn't make any sense.
It's never made any sense. Like you got the call wrong. You're technically penalizing me for telling you that you're wrong, and I was right that you're wrong. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like if you're gonna run it up and be right every time.
Okay. Nor does it make sense really that there are certain things you can't challenge. That doesn't make any sense either, to be honest. It doesn't.
Sure. Yeah, it's always like you never think of them because it's not like I'm sitting here with a list of every sport where you can and can't challenge. But then when they happen and it's like, oh yeah, this is unchallengeable, you're just like, what?
Why?
Why did they?
Why? Why is this unchallengeable?
Why? Like,
Why?
what are we
What
talking
made
about?
this? Because I know you guys had to have a conversation about this, and you made it part of the rule that you could challenge X, but you can't challenge Y. So and it's like no examples come to mind off the top, but
Well,
it's
is,
you'll
is pass
find one. And it's like
interference?
why? No,
Can you challenge pass interference?
no.
See, that one I think makes some sense because, especially now with how much money is on these games, that's such a subjective call. Like, everyone immediately goes to like the Saints playoff game against the Vikings. Like, yeah, that was a fucking easy one for sure. Like, super
It was
easy.
the Rams, but yes, it was the Rams.
Excuse me. Yes.
Yeah, it was the
Excuse me.
Rams. Yeah.
Super obvious one. Like, no doubt. No doubt. I'll give you that. They're not all that obvious. Like, I'd argue none of them. The rest of the history of football, none of them have been that obvious.
I feel like, and I kind of feel like they put it in after because the Saints like whined for like the entire offseason. Like,
Sure.
all right, man, here, man, damn, go ahead, like here it is. And then like they would challenge him, and none of them would get overturned. And then
Right.
then it just faded to black, and nobody ever asked about it again. It was like, yeah, for 1 year we can challenge PIs. After that, fuck you. Like we can't challenge shit. So, but that makes sense. And PI is very subjective in a way where, okay, this might be PI to you, but not to me. It's not cut and dry in a way where I understand. Whereas balls and strikes is supposed to be objective. It's not because umpires all have different strike zones. You have guys who call shit at the letters. You have guys who call shit at the feet. Everything in between. It's supposed to be objective. So if we could prove that shit is a ball or a strike, we should be able to.
I actually feel like the umpiring's gotten worse as the season's gone on. I thought it was actually decent the first half of the year, and then the second half, I've been seeing some strike zones I just couldn't even begin to understand, like at all.
And like my problem ain't even the bad strike zones. At least my main problem is not the bad strike zones. It's bad one inning, and then it's different the second inning, and then it's different the third inning. And I just want you to be consistent. If you're calling shit at the shins, I want you to keep calling shit at the shins. That's what you're doing. You've established that a ball at the shins is a strike. It should not be a strike in the first inning, a strike in the second inning, then a ball in the fourth. That's my major gripe. And you see it all the time in Major League Baseball with these dudes calling terrible fucking strikes. And then sometimes it's a strike and then sometimes it's not. It's like, you got to pick a struggle. If you're going to have a bullshit strike zone, enforce the bullshit strike zone.
Right. If you're wrong once, like, I don't want you to just keep being wrong for the sake of it. But if you've established this pitch is a strike,
right,
and then 2 innings later, all of a sudden it goes away. It's just like, all right.
And we see it all the time.
Every day.
Every day. Every day you watch baseball, you're like, okay, well, that pitch was a strike the inning before. What changed? It's the same pitch in the same spot. What changed?
Yeah, it drives me insane. And it's like when they decide a borderline pitch, like on a full count or 2 strikes, they seem to like very much be in the moment, whether or not they're going to call a borderline pitch, whether or not they've established it throughout the game. But like that protect with 2 strikes, which I know you hate and it does make little sense, but you definitely see them widen the strike zones a lot with 2 strikes.
Bro.
And when they decide not to, it's just like, well, the fuck was that? Like, there was one.
My single least favorite part about baseball is the plausible 3-0 strike. My least favorite part of it.
Sure.
The plausible 3-0 strike, where it's like, oh yeah, no matter what I throw, it's going to be a strike. Bro, if this wasn't a strike on 2-0, why the fuck is it a strike on 3-0? Why? We just don't want to give him first. He earned it. He took 4 balls. What the fuck are we talking about, bro?
Yeah, umpiring's brutal. And I've seen some umpiring propaganda recently on like social media and stuff where they're like starting to show these guys going to like umpire school. And it's like, you have no idea how hard it is to get to that level. It's like, why do I care? Like, they continuously graduate people who obviously suck at the job. So the system is broken.
Why do I care? Oh, well, insert umpire here. He went to umpiring school for 3 years. Great. Can he call balls and strikes well? Yes? Okay, great. Then love to have him. No, then I don't give a fuck what his trading is. What does that matter to me? It matters none at all. Like, he goes to umpiring school. Great, bro. Show me the results and show me the good results. There are some good umpires, no doubt. Just the bad ones overshadow any good because they're just so bad and they're around so long because they have more job security than damn near any fucking body else. There's no
I don't
reason
even.
Laz Diaz supposed to still be fucking umpiring, man. There's no reason why. He's been umpiring for my entire life, basically. Why is he still umpiring? He stinks. We all know he stinks. It's not new.
I don't even know if there are good umpires. I think it's all situational. Like I think they can be good on a given night, but their baseline is below average.
I mean, that's fair. To be fair, like we do have actual numbers to back this up. Just don't
Right.
ask me to name any good umpires. I can't. I can name the bad ones, which
Well, even
maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm toxic because I can't name any good umpires, but God knows I can name the bad ones.
they had I mean, everyone went crazy the other like 2 years ago. I think it was Pat Hoberg had the like perfect umpire game where he didn't fuck up a single call behind
Yeah.
the plate. And then I can't remember. This was killing me too. He like a year later, he made one of the worst calls, like that, like season defining call. And it was just like even the guy who was perfect once, and it's baseball. Like I don't expect anyone to be perfect every single day, but there should just be more systems in play to try to be perfect. I don't know.
Speaking of perfect and not perfect, we're still talking about Armando Galarraga's not perfect game, man. Like we're still speaking about this, man.
Well,
Like,
it's not we. He specifically has like filed lawsuits and done a lot to try and get it overturned. And I'm
yeah.
completely on his side. Couldn't be more
No,
on his
don't get me
side.
wrong. I am too. I it came up a couple days ago. I don't know if it came
Yeah,
up because he said something or he did something. I didn't read it. But all I know is you have people who are just firmly against them overturning it and making it a perfect game because he didn't technically throw a perfect game. And I'm like,
he did.
sure, I get it. You can't just overturn the results of baseball games because technically that's what you're doing here. I understand that. I also understand that he threw a fucking perfect game. And he got screwed.
Right.
I like hey, that's what happened. He threw a perfect game. He got fucking screwed out of it. Like,
My absolute least favorite argument, like by far my least favorite argument is people being like, we remember him more because of the fuck up, and he should be thankful for that. It's like if you don't shut the fuck up with that awful argument,
don't get me wrong.
terrible argument,
Everything before the comma there is true. Like we do
we
remember him more because he failed. Because they failed him. Excuse me. We do. That's just a fact. Why is that? He should be thankful for it. Is fucking insane though. Thankful
crazy.
for what? For what? Like, is he getting money off of this? Genuinely asking. I don't fucking know. All I know is he pops up like twice a
Oh,
year. He ain't getting no money because the umpire fucking failed him. So what should he be thankful for? That he's reminded of how he was fucked multiple times a year. That's why
I
he should
almost
be thankful for.
I almost think it's better for the umpire if it gets Jim Joyce if it gets overturned. Like them being like, "Yep, it was a mistake." Like I think if they'd done it in real time, he doesn't get like the thousands of death threats he gets if they were just like, "Hey, we're counting this." Like I know
And also, not for nothing. First of all, what do you remember what the score in the game was at the time?
it was low. It was like 3-1, I want to say, or three
Okay,
nothing,
so
I want to say.
all right, so it was still technically within reach, but c- calling that guy safe on a bang bang play in that particular set of circumstances was insane anyway. Just
Crazy.
because, listen, if you call him safe, I mean, if you call him out rather, and he was safe, nobody would care.
No.
So that's the thing. Nobody would care. Like you call him, if he's safe, you better be fucking sure he's safe. You
So
better be sure. Yeah.
it was 3-0. I nailed that.
Yes.
And Detroit just had scored two in the bottom of the eighth. So it was one. Like that's the thing. If it was 1-0, and people would be like, "Oh, so if it's different this time, it can be different other times." Yeah, of course. Like if he went on to lose this game, or if it became 3-3 or even 3-1, yeah, at that point you can't go back and do all this other shit. We're talking about who's the 9 hitter for the Cleveland I words, and what year was this? June 2nd, 2010. Who was the 9 hitter for Cleveland that day? No one gives a fuck, or no one even remembers who broke it up. Jason Donald. Jason Donald got reached on a ground ball. He didn't lace a single, and we're like, we should erase that. Like when Mike Mussina gave up that wall ball to Carl Everett at Fenway Park. Like no one was like, "Oh, you got to erase that one." No, of course
No, he
not. This
earned it.
was
No.
he got the out. Like he absolutely got the out.
He got the out, he earned the out. And I mean, it's not apples to apples, but if we could go back to a week ago and change a ball from a hit to an error, and somebody's ERA can go up or down based on this, We could change that out, like clear out that was actually recorded and earned. We could change that shit to an out and call it a day. It hurts nobody. Nobody can, and that's the thing. People who push back like, okay, well, you can't just change the results of baseball games. I don't even necessarily disagree with you in general, but like this is a particularly heinous circumstance. Number one, and number two, you hurt nobody if you change it. What do you hurt? Does the other team care? No. Like he gets to have his moment like, hey, I threw a perfect game. It's in the history books acknowledged as a perfect game that I threw, that we all knew he threw. We saw it. Like, what is the benefit? And on top of that, if I'm not mistaken, it wasn't like that was called an infield hit, correct?
Oh yeah, it was a single.
Right. So like he not only lost a perfect game, he then lost a damn no-hitter too. So correct. It's just based on an umpire error, not a player error, not like somebody was just really fast, he beat it up. Nah, the umpire fucked it up and fucked up the perfect game and the no-hitter on top of it. Yeah, you could change the shit. What's the big deal?
Right. Like one other person, like they went one batter longer and he grounded out to third. Right. That was it. Like it wasn't like, oh, Shin-Shu Chu was up with a chance to tie it. Like that's not what happened. The next guy immediately rolled one over.
That's not what happened. He earned the perfect game. Like what is the problem?
I want to see Jason Donald's career stats, which they don't even have on Wikipedia. It says a lot. Let's see. Baseball Reference. He had 142 career hits. So 141.
Wow. What would he ever do without that one career hit? What would he ever do?
Yeah. This was his last year in the league. 2012 was his last year in the league.
Then he was a part of history because the umpire fucked it up.
Crazy. Yeah, it's a black mark for baseball. I don't know. Back in the day, and I mean way back, like if you were down one, let's say, and you hit a walk-off grand slam, they would only give you 2 RBI because that's all you needed to win the game. Like they wouldn't give you credit for the home run. They wouldn't give you all 4 RBI.
Really?
Like this, yeah. I'm talking like 1910s, like Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth. They don't know how many home runs Babe Ruth hit because he had a couple like that.
Okay.
And it was the 19-teens, so they didn't have the best like bookkeeping. But there were walk-offs back then where they only gave you the amount of runs you needed. They didn't give you like, oh, you hit 4 and you're only down 1. Now you win by 3. No, it was very much you got 2 and you got a double.
Thank God they didn't gamble back then. Jesus Christ.
That's what I mean. Like clearly they weren't because I don't know what would happen if that was still the rule today. I would be used to it, but yeah, that would be an insane way to go about things. So I don't know. It's a sport.
It'd be like every single home run is like the Robin Ventura grand slam where they tackled him after first and they didn't let him score. So it's like, all right, yeah, grand slam single. Like every home run would be that. I
don't know. Like we're scoring runs. We're not counting runs because of the ghost runner and extras. Like the record books have never been clean. You know, they've never been sterling. We just took Josh Gibson's home runs and now we're parsing through which one of those count and don't count. It's just like we're already bad at this historically. I'm not saying let's not get better, but this is getting better by counting this perfect game. It's insane that they don't.
I don't understand why we can't just call a spade a spade. We all watched it. We all saw it. The man threw a perfect game. He was robbed. That's it. Like we saw it. It happened in 4K. We saw it. It wasn't 4K back then, but you get the point. We saw it.
Yeah, so in 2020 there was an interview with The Athletic. Almost 10 years after the game and 8 years after his retirement, Galarraga renewed the call for Major League Baseball to award him a perfect game. Joyce also voiced support for the change in the interview, agreeing with Galarraga, quote, because he did it. This reignited the debate surrounding the game, with Galarraga claiming that he did not, quote, want to die, and then they'll be like, you know what? He threw a perfect game. Those in favor of the change voiced their support, as the outcome of the game was not in any doubt if the call were to be changed. Opponents stressed that the notoriety of the near-perfect game is itself a different kind of reward, and believe overturning the decision would cause the game to be forgotten. I don't know if that's the best argument. If that's the best argument, then I'm very much pro overturning it.
And honestly, if the umpire himself is like, please just give him the perfect game. You probably should just do it. If the umpire himself is like, yo, please, bro, please, I fucked it up on his behalf. Just give him the fucking perfect game. The umpire himself will tell you that. You probably just give him the damn perfect game because he fucking earned it. I shouldn't give him his poor words, but you get what I'm saying.
Like opponents stress that the notoriety of the near perfect game. Like I would argue the Negro Leagues are pretty fucking notorious. Should we not count those then? Because that makes it less special? Of course not. Like, it's such a fucking stupid argument.
The notoriety makes it. We might forget about it. I mean, that's technically not untrue. It's just really a bad faith argument. Like, yes, would we talk about this as much if Jim Joyce called man out? No, duh, we wouldn't have no reason to. I get it, but you're still in the history books forever, though. Regardless, you're still in the history books forever, regardless of how much we talk about it. That's it.
I mean, I've seen people be like, "Oh, Bill Humber threw a perfect game. No one remembers him. He does. You know, he remembers throwing a perfect game.
Right. And if you look through the Major League Baseball history books for whatever the reason is, you want to research, you want to share with your kids, whatever it is, Philip Humber's name going to be there. That's it. Like, you want to introduce him to perfect games. Like, hey, you know, it's only been done however many times. Philip Humber's name is there. Are you going to spend 10 minutes talking about Philip Humber? No. But you read his name, you acknowledge what he did, and you move on. That's it. We don't have to remember everybody vividly. We don't.
There have been 24, 25 counting Galarraga's perfect games. Domingo Germán threw one. Everyone was happy about that. Felix Hernandez threw one. Matt Cain.
How are we defining everyone? Anyway, keep going.
His teammates for sure. Matt Cain threw one. Humber threw one. All three of those were in 2012. So we got 3 perfect games in 2012. And the Jim Joyce game was that 2010? Yeah, 2010.
Yep.
Yeah. I already got Matt Cain. Roy Halladay threw one in 2010. So those ones were actually like 2 weeks apart. Halladay and Galarraga were about 2 weeks apart. Dallas Braden threw one in 2010. Mark Burley threw one in 2009. Randy Johnson threw one in 2004. David Cohn threw one in 1999. David Wells threw one in 1998. Kenny Rogers, 1994. Dennis Martinez, 1991. Tom Browning. Like, I have no idea who Tom Browning is. I'm happy that he threw a perfect game. Mike Witt, Len Barker, Catfish Hunter, Sandy Koufax, Jim Bunning, Don Larson, Charlie Robertson, Addie Yas, could be any of those. Cy Young. So there was quite a, from 22 to 56, there were no perfect games. John Ward and Lee Richmond. Like, a lot of these 1, 2, 3, 4. The first 4 aren't teams that exist anymore.
And guess what? Their names are still etched in history, and I'm happy that they get to their family, people who follow the game, read the game, whatever. They get to see those guys, and they get to see what they accomplished. I'm glad that they get to do it because only fucking 24 people have done it. Like, it is 24 people, right? It's not multiple. Like, nobody's done it multiple times.
Yeah, no one's done it twice.
Okay, so it's 24 people who did this feat, and they were like, well. Now that you say that the 24 people have like, I knew it was a low number. I didn't know it was that fucking low. That makes the whole you get more notoriety shit even more annoying. Because it's like, what if he doesn't give a fuck about notoriety? He wants to be acknowledged as one of 25 people to ever do something. Right. What if that's just what he wants out of this?
So
notoriety. Fuck the notoriety.
So John Ward, who threw the second one for the Providence Grays. This is an official perfect game. That's how it starts. Already troublesome way to start this off. Although baseball obviously looked quite a bit different back then, including a pitcher's mound that was only 45 feet from home plate. So that one counts, but the Galarraga one does not.
45 feet from home plate. Okay.
Yeah, that team lasted for 5 more years, by the way. Done by 1885. Yeah, it's a 45-foot mound is hard. That'll keep pitchers healthy for sure. Yeah.
Yes, it would.
And then Lee Richmond threw the first one. The Worcester Ruby Legs were members of the NL from 1880 to 1882. In that first year, Richmond pitched in 74 of the team's 85 games, totaling 590 and 2/3 innings. He became the first man to throw an official perfect game, although the term didn't exist yet. He did that 5 days before John Ward threw one on June 17th. You can't imagine how furious you have to be to throw the second one ever, and it was June 17th to his June 12th. That's tough.
He pitched 74 of 85 games. He pitched 500 innings in one season, man. They were on some
almost 600, closer to 600 than 500.
They were on some nut shit, man. Six, damn near 600 innings pitched.
I mean, you're 45 feet away. I feel like everyone in the world could do this.
Fair counterpoint. Fair, 100% fair counterpoint.
You do, yes. And this was also a time that what's funny about these two, back then, the hitter got to tell the pitcher where and what to throw. So these lineups were just like, I guess down the middle again and just nothing, just rolling over the second time after time.
I want a curveball, belt high. Like, just can't do shit with it today. This is not our day. We can't do anything. It doesn't matter what we ask him to throw. We can't do shit.
I think walks were more pitches too. It was like 8 balls for a walk. Original baseball rules were hilarious. Like
8 balls for a walk is insane.
It was something like that, or maybe they just didn't have them. I can't remember what the rule was, but yeah, those ones count. Galarraga, no.
Imagine a world where you don't have walks. Boy, the bean balls would skyrocket. The bean balls would skyrocket. You can't walk Aaron Judge no more. All right, well, take one in the ribs, big fella.
9, like
take one in the ribs, big fella. Yeah, take 9 in the ribs, man. We can't walk you intentionally. All right, man. Or we can't walk you at all. Okay, cool. Here's 9 in the ribs.
Have fun trying to walk later, bucko.
Have fun trying to breathe later. You taking 9 baseballs in the ribs, bucko. Have fun. Enjoy.
It's pretty funny. Yeah, old baseball rules were. It's a wonder the sport ever got off the ground. Like it truly. Truly. It's about to be award season. I feel like a couple of them are actually, I don't know. Are any of them decided in your mind? Like, is anyone locked up an award? Maybe NL MVP?
Locked up? No. I would be surprised if Aaron Judge doesn't win AL MVP at this rate.
I don't know that I'd be surprised. I think he's the front runner, but I think if Kansas City makes the playoffs and the Yankees falter at all these next 6-7 weeks, I don't think I'd be surprised.
Fair. Like, my argument isn't so much if Bobby Witt continues to do exactly what he's been doing and Aaron Judge continues to do exactly what he's been doing. I don't think what Bobby Witt is doing is sustainable. So, like, I don't to this level. Like, yes, he's obviously great. I'm not saying he's going to fall off a cliff, but he's been running like a 500 average or whatever ridiculous bullshit for like a solid like 6 weeks, and it's like that just can't continue this way. And so, if he's just regular great, he's going to lose ground, and that eventually is going to happen. One would think, unless he's just this the rest of the year, which that creates a different argument. Even though I do find it really funny that every 2 seconds I got to hear how close the AL MVP race is. And it's like the NL MVP race is just as close and we don't hear about that shit at all. Now, why that is, I don't know. I can present cynical reasons, sure. But Ellie De La Cruz has every bit the case that Bobby Witt does. Ketel Marte has every bit the case that Bobby Witt does.
Well, he just got hurt.
Sure. I mean, how long is he out? Is he going to be out for a while? I don't know.
I was watching that injury live, and it didn't look good.
Okay, well, hopefully he's fine. But like, all right, so Ellie has every bit the case that Bobby Witt does, and we don't hear about the NL MVP race every 4 seconds. So it's interesting to me. But no, I don't think anybody has anything wrapped up. No.
Well, I mean, Shohei's just been unbelievable. Not that any of the other people we've talked about haven't been.
Right.
But I think people didn't necessarily expect him to, like, this guy can only slide feet first because he's still trying to protect his injury. Like, when Bryce came back with trying to play through UCL, it took him a while to even like lift the ball, let alone
That man was on 3 home runs for a long time.
Forever.
So yes.
Shohei's been like better than he is in a normal year because he's only hitting. It's I don't know. Like I don't hate Ellie being involved. I don't hate Marte before he got hurt being involved in the conversation. But when people talk about Shohei just homer, no. Yeah, who did? The Dodgers got runs without homering. That feels wrong. What the fuck was I talking about? Oh, the people talk about East Coast bias. Like they don't talk about how beneficial that is to the West Coast as well, because people have been talking about John Lynch like he's this fucking genius. Like he may be the dumbest GM I've ever seen in my life. Like he's terrible at that job. And people are like, I said that, and people are like, "What are you talking about? He's great." And I'm like, "Great? What do you mean great? Like he drafted Trey Lance. He traded 3 picks to do it. That's enough to get anyone else fired. If Shanahan wasn't his coach, he would have long been gone."
I think that's an interesting point, because if John Lynch was the GM of the New York Jets and he did the same shit, mind you, like not like he like nobody would be calling him a genius, respectfully. And it's not. No. I don't think he's bad at his job per se. Like I don't. And mind you, again, I used to root for the Jets, so like I've seen bad GMs, but John Lynch ain't that. Now, with that said, like they haven't won a Super Bowl. The expectations are supposed to be high because they've been on the fucking doorstep of winning the Super Bowl. And then they lit 3 first-round picks on fire for Trey Lance. That failed in spectacular fashion. They still haven't won a Super Bowl. Now they're doing this for Brandon Ayuk largely, and Kyle Shanahan does have a say in what they do. So it's like Kyle Shanahan, the GM, and Kyle Shanahan, the coach, are enemies. Like one of them makes the job way harder for the head coach, but yeah, no, and I mean the Dodgers, to bring it back to baseball, the Dodgers too, like the Yankees scuffling has gotten front page type of headlines basically since it started. The Dodgers record over the last like 90 games is not even that much better. Like and they're letting the Padres and whoever the fuck else in the West and the Diamondbacks, I guess. Yes, both of them. Close the gap on them a little bit. Like, I don't know where they are now, but at last check, the Padres were like 5 out. At last check.
The Dodgers have a 2.5 game lead on both the Diamondbacks and the Padres.
Okay, exactly. And
both of them, like we're talking about for the last 10, obviously you're talking about a larger sample than that, but for the last 10, right, the Dodgers are 7-3, objectively very good. Both of those teams are 9-1. So it's like
that's funny. That's
all 3 of those teams have been playing
going
above their
7-3
heads
and
lately.
Losing ground is hilarious. But yeah,
that's what I mean. Like
hilarious.
The AL East, for sure, when the Red Sox were surging, what feels like 3 months ago at this point, but when the Red Sox were surging and the Yankees and Orioles were both faltering, I do think that was more pronounced than the Dodgers did scuffle in the middle of the season, no doubt. The other 2 teams are just dominating, like beating the bag out of everyone.
Oh yeah, but like over that stretch of time, even if we're not talking about necessarily the last week and a half or so, over that stretch of time, like the Dodgers have largely been an above average team, and we have a large sample of it. Now with them, at least you can make it about injuries if you want to. Like that, I'm not going to sit here and tell you not to. They have been injured, very injured, but the Dodgers don't get covered like you would think a team with a $300 million payroll would. Like they just don't. They don't.
No, because they're tucked away and hidden, and people genuinely don't care as much. People will take that as an insult, but
no,
if I have to hear about your fucking weather all the time, like, yeah, you don't care as much, and that's why. So you can't have both. Like pretending Lakers and Dodgers fans are as diehard as people from real sports towns, like it's an insane take, genuinely insane.
Anybody from LA watching this, he said that. I did not.
Well, that's the first time they've heard me say that. Like the Dodgers have like Julio Urias gets less talk than fucking Domingo Germán, and he's as bad, if not doubly worse, a person. You know?
I'm not here to confirm or deny any of that statement.
No one brings him up. Like he's still a free agent.
No comment. at this time. I will not.
Bad
I will
people,
not make a
but the
comment at this time.
Dodgers get to skate. No one cares.
That's
Like,
a
if
wild.
Trevor-
That's a wild example. But yes, go ahead.
But even my point, like if Trevor Bauer wasn't constantly begging for a job, no one would talk about him either.
He's the worst. That guy is the worst.
He stinks. He stinks
That
as a
guy-
person, but like
he's
it,
the
like
worst. He's the worst.
fucking the Dodgers skate off a lot.
They do.
A lot.
They do.
And it's because that's the East Coast bias. No one cares. Like positive or negative, people just don't care the same.
I will say it's a little bit different for the Lakers, but yes, in general, can't argue.
They were living in the top 3 of the lottery for about a decade. No one cared.
I actually can't argue that. That's fair. That's fair.
I mean,
That's fair. That's fair. That is fair. That is true.
Lakers definitely
like, nationally
get the
they did not. Yeah, nationally
No.
they really were not frying the Lakers for doing all of that. That's true.
People just stopped caring. Like they
That's
were like,
true.
the
Fair.
Lakers suck. That
Next.
was it.
Yeah.
Kobe was still on the team. They're like, what can you do? Like they just didn't care. Didn't care at all.
I can't argue that. That's true.
No, the Knicks have been bad my whole life. People care every year. Every year people care.
All right, let's relax. They have
It's
not,
true.
Like you are what 34? They have not been bad your whole life. We don't have to do this.
Quite literally my whole life.
They have not been bad your whole life, bro. You're 34. You were born in 1990. Stop it.
I was born in 89 and
Whatever.
they were bad.
Stop it. They were not bad your whole life.
Well, they made one legitimate finals. Is that right?
They made 2.
I said legitimate. 99 was not legitimate.
What?
They're the 8th seed.
Of course.
Why
does that make? Why does that make
played
A less
14
legitimate?
regular season games? I don't want to hear it.
They played 50. Did they not? Or am I making that up? I think it was 50.
I don't even know if it was that much, but
I think it was 50. It was 50 regular season games. They went through the playoffs just like everybody else, and they came out in second place. What's the what's the problem?
Right. Even in the shortest season of all time, they still couldn't get it done.
They did not stink your whole life, man. Stop that. They've been good
largely
for like,
stunk.
They've been good
30
for
of the 35 years I've been alive.
That's not 100%.
Congrats. But regardless, the 30 years they did stink, it was a big story every year.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
The Lakers
That's
stink.
true.
It's just like, man, but they were okay. Like, no, they weren't. They weren't. Like the Ben Simmons, Markelle Fultz back-to-back years. Everyone shits on the Sixers. The Lakers are right there. They have the 2 pick both of those years. No one cares. No one cares at all. The Celtics picked 3rd, once via lottery, once by choice. They picked 3rd. And everyone's like, oh, man, look at those idiot 76ers. The Lakers were right there. Jason Tatum was begging to be a Laker just respectfully. He didn't have his dad on TV being like, my son's a Laker. Best since Magic Johnson. The Lakers got bullied into taking Lonzo Ball over Jason Tatum. No one cares.
That's true. They did take Lonzo. They did.
And all I hear about is Fultz. That's it. I only ever hear about Fultz. Danny Ainge could only do that trade because he knew the Lakers were being forced into taking Lonzo Ball. If there was any mystique or potential that they would take Tatum, he doesn't trade with the Sixers. He just takes Tatum 1. That's it. That's how that story would have went.
So the Lakers are partially responsible for this era of Celtics basketball. That's crazy.
Extremely responsible. Like the more responsible than Philly, no doubt. Way more responsible.
Like Philly took Markelle Fultz, man. I still don't think that was bad process at the time.
Every team would have. Every single time.
I don't think that was bad process. Like the only thing I'll say, I guess, maybe you want to argue that, in this era of the NBA, you probably should just take the 6'8" or 6'9", whatever the fuck Tatum is, skilled wing who would do a little bit of everything. If you want to make that argument, sure. I just don't think it was egregious taking Markelle Fultz. It wasn't.
No.
Just like it wasn't egregious taking Greg Oden over Kevin Durant. And we still revise history on that one. And it's like, it was 2000 fucking what, 6?
8.
It was 2007.
7.
It was 2007, bro. Like the big man was in vogue back then. And Greg Oden was nasty in college. That was not an egregious pick. It wasn't. Like if they did it in 2019, okay, yeah, we're having a way different conversation. Sure, but it was not bad at the time.
When Ayton goes over Luka, people hear about it, like for sure. That gets talked about.
As it should, as it damn well should. That shit was egregious.
But yeah, the Lakers, this is what I'm talking about. Like Philly, proud East Coast city. They've been wearing those 2 misses.
Oh, now we're complimenting Philly?
I've always liked Philly. They are very as close of a city as I've ever been to is Boston. Like it's the exact. That's why I think there's so much tension. They're the same city, without all the success, obviously, but
Are
the same city outside of that.
are you going to compliment the best player on the Sixers next?
I love Tyrese Maxey. I've long been a fan. Anytime you can get
Are
a
you going to
guy,
compliment the second best player on the Sixers next? If you say Paul George, bro, stop. just stop. Preemptively stop.
no, I wasn't even thinking of him. I was thinking like Jared McCain.
All right.
No, Joel Embiid's one of the big men I've seen in my life, no doubt.
One of the big men I've seen. All right.
You could argue he's this generation's Ewing, and I mean that not as a compliment.
So now you're just going out of your way to hurt my feelings. Why? What did I do? What did I do?
I think people on the whole speak about Patrick Ewing disrespectfully and compliment Joel Embiid for largely having the same career up to this point.
Joel Embiid has never seen an NBA Finals.
Sure. I mean, if all the best players in the league retired, I'm sure he'd have a better chance like Ewing did.
All the best players in the league.
And if a shortened season, yeah, that would for sure help Embiid. Because Ewing was on that 99 team, right?
Yes, he didn't play in the finals, but yes, he was.
I was gonna say that was year what, like 14 by then?
Yeah, he was injured. He got hurt.
I mean, he was injured the first finals. Like he was injured. The comparisons are endless if you really want to break it down.
Joel Embiid has never made it past round 2. What are we doing? Let's not. Let's not.
Again, I would take Ewing. There's no question about it. But I think if you polled most people today, they would take Embiid, and I think that's incorrect.
I can't believe we compared the two. That's crazy.
Do you think it's that crazy a comparison?
No, but
like this, when I hear people talk about Embiid, they're always just like he's one of the best big men of all time. If you said that about Ewing, you'd get enough people to put him in the conversation, but low in the conversation, which I don't think is necessarily unfair. Like I wouldn't take him over Hakeem. You know what I mean? I don't think anyone would.
Yeah.
But Embiid kind of gets put up in that Hakeem, and it's just like that's crazy to me. That's really my whole problem is people try and put him in this like it's almost like because the big men haven't been as dominant over the last 15 or so years. Like once Duncan retired, that was kind of it. It's crazy to just be like he's ahead of Ewing. Like he's got the MVP. Ewing doesn't, to my knowledge. I don't believe he does at least.
No, he doesn't.
I'm sure he played with Michael Jordan's era, and they decided to give a couple of Karl Malone for some unknown reason.
Yeah.
And Barkley got one. Like there were a lot of good players back then, but yeah, it's crazy I do think most people would take Embiid over Ewing, and I think that's probably just the youth. I don't think if you ask anyone over the age of like 40, they would agree.
I also think it depends on what you prioritize, because clearly Embiid's more talented. Now, what that means is he's clearly more talented. Now, to be fair, he's clearly more talented. But to be fair here, like it wasn't in 1994 and 1990, big men were asked to do different shit anyway. So it's
right. That's why I don't know. Like, if Embiid were forced to play a physical download game all the time, I don't think he's making it through any seasons. Fair. Like,
so like the point is like we don't know what Patrick Ewing would do in a more wide open game where, like, yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair. True. That's fair.
Like Patrick Ewing, it sucks. Like he was the guy who kind of like built the Knicks after the early 70s team won those 2 titles. When he becomes the number 1 overall pick for the Knicks, with like that draft has all the intrigue in the world around it, but when he gets there, it like completely revives everything in New York as a whole. Him not winning a championship, like he played in Jordan's era. I don't really fault him too much for that. But Patrick Ewing kind of gets overlooked even by like a David Robinson. Like when I think of like, we don't get like those jacked centers anymore. Like David Robinson looked like a goddamn action figure. Yeah. And Ewing was just as jacked. But when I think of jacked centers, I think of David Robinson first.
Because he's like the tier 1, the creme de la creme of the fucking muscle bound centers. Like that homeboy was rocked. Like,
yeah, I mean Ewing was unbelievable, and I do think if you polled most people, they would pick Embiid over him.
Yeah, I do think there's a healthy dose of recency bias there to a degree.
Sure.
Because a lot of the people who would be polled here they're probably not old enough to have seen and appreciate Patrick Ewing. And also, again, like in general, just comparing guys across eras. Like I know I'm going to be the boring guy and
No, it's
the
hard.
pump police guy. It's extremely difficult because everybody had different responsibilities. Do you understand how many big men from 1995 would die would die for the right to just go play now instead? Like because back then a big man dribbling the ball more than fucking like 3 times before the half court line would get you benched. We get you bet. Now they're encouraged, like, oh, you want to bring the ball? Okay, bro, go for it. Great. Like you want to Euro step and shoot threes? All right, man, go for it. Great. Like they're encouraging you to do different shit as opposed to back then. It was like, all right, you get your big ass in the post. Like you want to shoot 50-foot jumpers? Is this after you get your big ass in the post?
Right.
Okay, then fine, shoot the jumpers, but you have to get your big ass in the post first.
Is the shot clock literally expiring? Because if it isn't, boy oh boy, do we have a problem.
Like them dudes never shot threes. It don't matter how good they shot; they just weren't shooting threes.
The
ever.
guards weren't shooting threes, like no one was. So yeah.
That too, yes. Like Larry Bird shot like 2 threes a game. It's still one of the craziest statistics of all time to me. He shot like 2 threes a game. It's like what? Why did it take so long for y'all to realize that 3 is a bigger number than 2? Why did it take y'all so long? I understand the Celtics won 1 million championships anyway, but point remains. They could have maybe they would have won more if they just let Larry Bird shoot the fucking ball from 5 feet further more often.
I'm looking at Ewing was taking 0.4 3-pointers a game in 96. Like that was also too much. I don't know why they were doing that.
What was his percentage?
Like 14.
Yeah. Yeah. 0.4 per game. So that's probably like what?
Where are the totals?
That's probably like 30 or so, like over 82 games.
Yeah, he took 28.
He took
28 threes. Career high, obviously. He took 21
the
year before he shot 29%. So he was kind of cooking.
No, he wasn't. He must have been getting them off before the shot clock expired. That's the only explanation for this.
You would think. I mean, he took 125 career. He hit 19 of them.
I guess
more than I would have guessed.
That's why he didn't shoot him, I guess.
I would have guessed he hit maybe like 1 half-court shot. You know what I mean? Like that.
He ain't Shaq.
That's what I mean.
Didn't Shaq hit like 1 3-pointer in his career? I want to say it was like 1, right?
He had to have.
It was like
I think so long.
I think it was 1. I think he hit 1 in his entire
1 for 22. 5%.
5%, yeah.
And he hit it in 95, 96. So him and Ewing were kind of just cooking from distance.
How many did he take in 96?
2.
50%, maybe. Yeah.
The most he hit was 5. Or most he took was 5.
Yeah, 1 for 2 though. Yeah, 50%, baby. Fucking 50 player.
I was gonna say his free throws was
like 50%.
Not 50. 49. 48.7 to be precise.
Sorry, 50-50-48 or 50-50-40 if we want to call it.
That's very funny. Very funny shooting split. Fucking Shaq. Love Shaq. But yeah, the Yankees still have all the momentum from winning that Red Sox series, very winnable series for the Red Sox, and the Red Sox have just decided, like, hey, we'll have a lead through 5, 6. Like, the Red Sox should be the team begging for the 6, complete games only. We would be, I don't know, 95 and 30 at the moment. Like, I couldn't imagine how good we'd be. We hand it over to the bullpen, and the other team just like, fucking thank you, dude. Like, I can't wait.
They hand it over to the bullpen. They start Birdman hand rubbing in the dugout. Like, you can't wait.
Did you see what they did last night?
I saw that Wyatt Langford a 3-run homer in the 9th, correct?
Yeah, it was 7-4, and Langford shouldn't even gotten up for some reason. We tried to we can't turn double plays no matter how routine they are. Our first baseman, who's like never played first base before he became a Red Sox this year, Romy Gonzalez, like they said the throw was high. Like I got to see with my own eyes, definitely wasn't. He just kind of like jumped forward for it. Like that's where I know it wasn't high. He didn't jump up for it. He jumped forward for it. So he came off the base, no double play. And Yeah, Wyatt Langford gets the worst breaking ball of all time from Josh Winkowski, and he hits it 712 feet over the monster. And then immediately Zach Kelly comes in the top of the 10th. I'm shocked how infrequently teams just put the leadoff guy off or on first. You know what I mean? Like that. Why let them score that run? Like just point to first. You get first and second.
Yeah.
Turn two, eliminate the sacrifice fly. I know it's easier said than done, but I almost never see that strategy ever.
They just don't like intentionally walking people, man. I mean, you know how I feel about this. I've watched Rafael Devers hit 98 home runs against the Yankees, and they never intentionally walk that fucking guy. And I'm just saying, like,
That's
you
a
just don't have to do this. You really don't.
Twins pitch to him. Like it just doesn't make. I just think going down two is dreadful. And it was like the number 8 hitter, I think, that hit the bomb off Zach Kelly on the first pitch. But I don't know, it's lefty righty. You'd think let's just try and get double play situation. Like why even concede the first run, let alone once you're down two, it feels like it's done anyways.
Agreed. It's just you put the guy on first. If you get a well placed ground ball, you might be able to get out of this inning with no runs. And if they want to bunt, okay, we can play that game. Walk the next guy.
Right.
Same thing applies. So it's just a ground, like you are aiming for a ground ball. A ground ball can make your life easier, regardless of when it comes. But I will take my chances with a grounder with runners on first and second, getting me a double play and potentially getting me out of the inning with no runs. Because that's the goal here. I'm trying to get to the bottom of the inning, knowing I only need one run to win the game. That's the goal.
Right.
That should be the goal anyway.
Right. Yeah. I may even go 5 infielders. You know what I mean? Like even with first and second, I might go 5 infielders and just play both my guys like in the outfield shading the center, because it's like, all right, if it's first and second, I don't really care about sac fly. Obviously, if someone ropes one to dead center, you're fucked. But
yes, or down the lines, you're big fucked. But
sure, but you kind of are like no matter what the down the line, always
sure.
always
sure.
a disaster.
Yeah, down the line, you're pretty much always fucked. True. It's just going to take way longer to get to the baseball. Yes.
Sure, but I think that's the risk. You know what I mean? You can, if guys could pitch and not just throw, you could pitch around that. But especially relievers, they're coming in just throwing.
True.
And I hate it. Definitely hate it. But yeah, you guys took 2 out of 3 off the White Sox. Like you said, you feel indifferent because of the one loss. We took 2 out of 3 off the Rangers, and it felt like we got swept. Like it was that bad of a loss.
I've seen multiple Red Sox fans say that, and I relate. Like I don't feel like the Yankees got swept by the White Sox. I just don't feel anything. It's just all right. It's really cool to watch Juan Soto and Aaron Judge play baseball. Like that's my lone takeaway from this, and I had that going into the series anyway. So it's like all right, they just didn't lose a series. Cool, I can appreciate that fact. That's all I got.
Like since the All-Star break, they lost the series to the Dodgers, swept. They lost the series to the Rockies, 1 out of 3. They lost the series to the Yankees, 1 out of 3. They won the series against the Mariners, won it against the Rangers, won it against the Royals, swept by the Astros at home. And then you take 2 out of 3 off the Rangers, and it's just like, it feels like those Astros and Dodgers series have been piling up because they've just been kind of moving in quicksand. And I think the bullpen ERA is like 7. 6-8 or something like that since the All-Star break.
Yankees bullpen has been quite ass since too. So yeah, we're in the same boat.
Yeah, well, that's the other part. I look around the league, and I've kind of felt this way all year. But at this point, I thought someone would emerge. I don't look at anyone like they're head and shoulders above the rest of the league. Not a single team. And I think that's good for baseball. But I also feel like you want 1 or 2 teams, because even when they lose, like right now, if anyone were to lose outside of the Yankees, because that's a Red Sox thing. But if any of these teams get bounced, like there's no Braves to point and laugh at right now. You know what I mean? Like there's no, they won by their division by 15 games and then they lost immediately. Like we don't have that right now. If anyone were to win,
people gonna laugh at the Dodgers. Oh, like, not as much as they would laugh at somebody else, but they're gonna laugh at the Dodgers though.
Sure, but it's not like the Braves like cry and do all this stuff about the rules and everything. Like there's even like the Guardians, they've got to have the biggest lead, right, in their division out of anyone. Now it's only 4.5.
They're leading the Twins?
Yeah, I thought they had a much larger lead. No, 4.5. The biggest is the Brewers, 8.5 over the Cardinals and Reds.
What's funny about the Guardians is that they are. I was looking up stuff yesterday with regard to the AL Central and their records against everybody in their division, and because I wanted to just call all of them the White Sox merchants. Cleveland's 500 against them. That's the funny part about it. They're 5-5 against the White Sox this year, and they're 21-17 in that division. They're actually better outside of the division than in it. So
that's interesting.
I take that back. They're not White Sox merchants, actually.
Well, I
think the Royals are they're
Royals
like 10-1 against them or whatever it is.
They're sub 500, and it's only by a game, but they're sub 500 against the rest of the league, and very over 500 against the White Sox.
Yes, them boys.
But like that's if the Brewers get bounced in the first round, and I have to use them because they have the largest lead over any division in baseball. If they get bounced in the first round, there's not going to be anyone being like, those fucking Brewers choked it away. No one, not a single person.
We're just going to focus on the Dodgers and Yankees, man.
Sure. And I think the Phillies will get that a little too. Like they're 6 up on the Braves. I think the Braves are
surprised. Oh, you know what? The Phillies have been dog shit recently. So there's that. I was about to say, I'm surprised. I'm surprised that it's only 6, but they've been quite bad. So
the NL East has been bad. The Phillies I saw a Mets fan last night say, like, if any of these teams, none of these teams actually want to win the division. And he's right. Like, obviously the Marlins don't matter, but they're 4-6 over their last 10. The Nationals 5-5. I think they're the only team having fun right now because at least their young guys are up. Like, they stink right now, but their young guys are up. They're 5-5 their last 10. Mets are 4-6 their last 10. Braves 4-6 their last 10. Phillies 5-5 their last 10. Like, the Phillies have technically gained a game on the Braves and Mets, and I'm sure they feel terrible about it.
As they should. Like it's been going back a while with them.
They lost 4 straight. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Diamondbacks, and then, or excuse me, 3 out of 4 to the Diamondbacks, and then they split with the Marlins. Can't have that.
I think the Phillies, they still win that division, but they've been quite. I don't know if it's been since like the middle of July, but they've been bad for a minute now. So hopefully for them, they get it right.
Yes, like they don't have. Oh, excuse me, that's a wrong division entirely. Their run differential is fine, but the Brewers have the second best run differential in the NL. I haven't heard a single person be like they're a dark horse, like they could do something. Like I don't know anyone. Maybe like Jackson Chourio. Maybe he's going to backpack them, which is
I am so looking forward to Jackson Chourio playoff at bats, man. I'm so looking forward to that. Like, give me that. Right. So looking forward to it.
He's homered today off of Flaherty.
He's a stud. Jackson. He's a stud.
Yeah, he's all right. Big fan. I want to see what his brother does too.
Which one?
The one that's in the top 100 right now.
Oh, Jason.
Yeah, I was going to say one of them's in the top 100, which they finally updated after the trade deadline and after the draft. Good news for us, not as much for you guys.
Yeah, we'll be all right. We'll be fine. Christian Campbell, I hear good things about, though.
Only good. I haven't heard a single negative thing about Christian Campbell. I would smack the person who even tried.
All right. You're a father, bro. There's no need for violence.
That's right. It's more violence, I would argue.
All right, bro.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the off season. That's what I'm looking forward to.
I'm looking forward to the Yankees hoisting up the World Series trophy. So I'm looking forward to.
I mean, maybe the Brewers will let them hold it, but probably not.
Let them hold it. They're gonna be in their dugout away in their clubhouse, sulking and reflecting on a really good season while the Yankees are outside on the field with the trophy presentation with Manfred and whoever the fuck else. That's what's gonna happen.
They're 6-4 over your last 10. It's not like you guys are out of the slump and still not that good. Like I don't.
I feel like you said about the entire every single.
I just did. That was how we started the segment. Is I don't think anyone's that much better than anyone else.
Nobody's that good, man. So it's like, all right, we go with the World Series.
The Astros are 8-2 their last 10. They seem to have figured it out again.
Very annoying.
Yeah,
Very
that's the
annoying.
one team.
Very
I got there's two
fucking
teams you don't want to see in the playoffs. The
Very
Astros are
annoying.
clearly number one right now.
It's very. Who's the second one?
Us, and you know that. I've been
Stop
saying that
it! Knock it off! I don't give
we
a
would
fuck about the
mop you
Red
guys
Sox.
in the playoffs.
Stop!
Absolutely
Stop!
mop you.
Stop!
You have two players.
Stop! And
That's
how many
it.
do you have?
More than two.
You got Devers, you got Costas. Who else is scaring you in that? Oh, Durant. Fine. Excuse me.
You want to see Wilyer Abreu in the Bronx? I don't think so.
Man.
If Wilyer Abreu played for the Yankees, I don't know how. Like rookie of the year odds, for some reason, don't really move that frequently. Wilyer Abreu not running away with it like he should be minus 10,000 right now. It's insane that they even pretend that anyone else is up for the award.
I mean, he has not separated himself in that way. Man.
He absolutely has.
No, he has not.
He's first in everything. What do you mean?
He's not. I'm not saying he should not be the rookie of the year. I'm just saying he has not separated himself to the.
Typically, when you're first in everything,
minus
that's
10,000.
pretty separating.
That's not how this works.
It's pretty separating.
Is he first in WAR?
And everything. It's not a real stat. Not a real stat. There are 3 different wars. Like, why would I count that as a real stat?
Why would you not? It is a real stat.
And he's only played 93 out of a possible 119 games because he went on the IL twice. So even if he was leading WAR, that would be outrageous.
What's the best availability, Coley?
93 games is more than plenty. And Rafael, I mean, his WAR doesn't move either because he plays 2 of the most difficult positions as a rookie, and they counted against him for some reason.
Hey, man, all I'm saying is that there are other people in the race.
They're all looking at Wilyer Abreu.
Maybe they are, but it's not decided. That's all. It's not.
What are the
He's
odds?
quite good.
Yeah.
I'm not taking nothing away from him, but he has not ran away with rookie of the year. No.
And the AL, I think he had, like the NL's way closer.
Like Colton Cowser is still right there. Austin Wells is right there. Like, yeah.
Austin Wells has not been as good as Wilyer Abreu this year.
He has
for sure not. He's not.
He has been.
And I like Austin Wells. Austin Wells had an unbelievable month and a half.
He's been amazing.
And he hasn't been better than Wilyer Abreu.
He's a 3-WAR player. What is Abreu?
They got to break again. I don't care about WAR. Why doesn't he have more home runs than Wilyer?
He's played less, most likely.
That's what I'm saying. Why would he be ahead of him?
He's more valuable?
Wrong.
Okay. Says you. Okay. Yeah, Austin Wells played 83 games.
Luis Heel. I don't have Luis Hill's been awesome up to a point.
Hey man, if Wilyer Abreu wins Rookie of the Year, I will shed no tears over it. Like he's clearly been a really good player, no doubt. There are guys who are in that conversation with him. Is the only point. I wouldn't give Abreu the award anyway, but he's in the conversation, and the other people are in the conversation with him.
They have Colton Cowser actually running away with it, so they have already decided who's going to win it, and it's wrong.
I don't think Colton Cowser is running away with anything either. So there's that.
That's what the odds have it at, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying.
No. I know what you're saying, but I don't think that.
Skeens Merrill is closer than Colton Cowser, Luis Heel, which is 1-2 right now.
I don't understand that. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's
what I'm saying. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
That's weird to me. I don't
And
understand.
Churrio's plus 5,000 right now. So they've decided that's a 2-man race. They've decided this is a 3-man race, and 2 of them are Yankees.
Give Austin Wells or Luis Heel his Rookie of the Year, please. Thank you. Whichever one. It doesn't matter to me which. Please.
What's Heel's ERA right now? Like 4?
No, bro. It's like 3.3.
That's much closer than I thought it would be.
Get out of my face. No, it's not fucking 4, bro.
Lost to the White Sox. Out of the running. Out. No longer in the running.
Hey, man. Other people lost to the White Sox, too. The Red Sox lost twice to the White Sox.
Okay, and if Wilyer
Abreu's on that team,
down like that.
Oh, Wilyer Abreu's on that team. What you
I
mean?
actually do think he didn't play in that series. I'm going to pull that up. I don't think he was healthy for that series.
Yeah, Heel's ERA is 3.25. Heel's been incredible.
That? Yeah, didn't play in that series. That's helpful. He's missed the White Sox series.
Damn it.
See, do we sweep if he's out there? Probably. The numbers point to that.
We don't know that. Wilyer Abreu is going to take his third place Rookie of the Year finish and be happy with it.
This is saying he's coming in like fifth. So I don't even.
I'm being nice about it.
Crazy.
He will take his third place finish behind Luis Hill and fourth place behind Luis Hill, Austin Wells, and Colton Cowser, and he'll accept it.
Colton Cowser, my face with Colton Cowser.
Hey, you're gonna disrespect Colton Cowser?
I disrespect him. I would never like if the Orioles called up and said we trade you Cowser for Wilyer Abreu, I'm laughing and hanging up the phone.
He's been a better rookie. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't think that he has, to be quite frank.
Okay, that's fair.
He's been streakier for sure.
Yeah, he's been better, and that's okay. Wilyer Abreu will get his just due. As a matter of fact, in some event, you could say that him not winning Rookie of the Year would be more noteworthy than him winning it.
Yeah, people always remember the third place Rookie of the Year.
We're gonna be talking about this for forever if he gets quote unquote robbed.
The fuck, 778 OPS out of my fucking face, dude. Colton Cowser. I know that'd be third on the Yankees, but let's be serious right now. Austin Wells 773. I was actually right. Out of my face.
Austin
Better
Wells,
than Wilyer Abreu.
Austin Wells, Rookie of the Year, man. Lock it in. Lock it in.
Disgusting.
Bet the money. Lock it in. Lock it in.
I like Austin Wells. He's been good.
Good player. Rookie of the Year.
For sure not.
ROI, baby.
773 OPS.
With elite catcher defense, by the way. Tell the whole story.
I got an elite right fielder who is 835 OPS right now.
That's not the same as one of the best hitting catchers in baseball with elite defense. Not the same.
Was that the fourth best hitting catcher in the AL East? Is that what we're talking about?
You don't want to do that.
Who's better?
You don't want to do that.
Is that not right?
He's been just as good as Adley Rutschman this year. What are we talking about?
Okay, and this isn't the only year of their respective careers. So if you want to take,
we're talking about this year. I'm talking about
this best hitting catcher in the AL. That's all, or in the game, not even the AL.
For a period of time, he has been.
You're right, but that's not what you said. You didn't say for a period of time.
He's played 1 year, Coley. What else?
Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? It's like Aaron Judge gets called up when he's 28. People are like, man, I can't believe he hit 100 home runs so quickly. He's fucking in his prime the whole time. I hope he did.
Listen, man, just because the Yankees slow play their prospects, we're not going to hold that against Austin.
That's one way to put it.
They slow play their prospects. We're not going to hold that against Austin Wells.
Dominguez is going to shatter that record when they call him up in 2032. He's going to hit them all 1 year.
2032 is crazy.
They show no. I mean, every time someone else gets hurt, they're like, "So it's Dominguez's turn." They're like, probably not."
And they're still hitting that doofus number leadoff every day.
That's what I mean. Like that.
Oh my god.
Yankees fans should be thrilled about Austin Wells. When you guys call up a catcher and he starts hitting immediately, that lasts forever. There's no reason to think it won't.
All right, we could cut the show. Cut it. You're not about to get me to cry on air, bro. Cut it. It's done. Peace. Done.